Welcome to a core family. Take a moment and listen closely. The story starts here.
The insult hit harder than any storm. Freeloaders! My father spat across the dinner table. Not strangers. Not neighbors. Me and my 12-year-old son. Hi, I'm Colleen Harper. 36. Product manager. Mother. Homeowner. The cruel irony? They hurled those words inside the very house I bought. I didn't cry. I didn't shout. I looked them in the eyes. One sentence left the room frozen. From that moment, nothing was the same. A fracture too deep. A family line torn clean. They thought I'd bend. They thought I'd bankroll their mess. They thought wrong. Before I explain why I drew that line, I want to hear from you. What city are you watching from right now? Leave a comment so I know how far this story travels. And trust me, their cruelty was only the beginning. I was 18 when my world cracked open. My grandfather's will left me $100,000. It was my chance, college, a future, a life I dreamed. I held my acceptance letter, imagining classrooms and computer science labs. But that summer night, my parents called me into the living room. My father crossed his arms, eyes hard. "We need your inheritance," he said, voice flat, like weather. Confused, I asked, "Need it for what?" My mother turned, avoiding my gaze, then forced a smile. "Philip's starting a construction business with your father. He needs capital." She added, "It's a sure thing. We'll pay you back." Philip, the golden child, wasn't even present. He didn't need to be. They spoke for him. "What about my college?" I whispered, hands clutching the letter. "You can get loans, Colleen. This is for the family," my father said. My mother nodded quickly, as if that sealed my fate. Their family never meant me. It always meant Philip. Within a year, the company collapsed. Debts piling, dreams evaporating. No repayment, no apology, not even an acknowledgement. My future vanished in their gamble. I was left with nothing but resentment and a duffel bag. That night, I packed my laptop, $500, and walked away. No one stopped me. No one checked if I was safe. Outside, the summer air pressed heavy against my skin. Streetlights buzzed as I dragged my bag across cracked sidewalks. Every step echoed louder than the silence I left behind. Neighbors' houses glowed with laughter, but none of it was mine. I was 18, clutching hope and fear in equal measure. Alone, yet determined to carve a life they could never steal. They called it sacrifice, but the only sacrifice was me. The apartment smelled of dust and instant noodles. Two strangers shared the rent, but I mostly shared silence. My mattress sat on the floor, thin sheets barely covering springs. Still, it was mine, earned not given. College was brutal. Classes drained me by day. Jobs consumed me by night. Waitressing, stocking shelves, tutoring, my body never rested. Some nights I collapsed, too tired even to eat. I lived on caffeine and determination. Ramen noodles stretched across weeks, textbooks heavier than groceries. Every bill felt like a test I wasn't allowed to fail. The acceptance letter stayed pinned above my desk, yellowing with time. Loneliness stalked every hallway. When lights flickered during storms, no one checked my door. When rent was due, no parent wired money to save me. The silence was deafening, but it became my teacher. My parents never asked how I survived. Their calls came twice a year, voices rehearsed and hollow. "How's school?" my mother asked, before praising Philip's next big idea. It was always Philip, never me. I stopped waiting for care that never came. Instead, I found resilience in the quiet hours. I studied while others slept, coding late into the night. Anger kept me awake. Pride kept me moving. By graduation, I was exhausted but undefeated. Top of my class, computer science degree in hand. When I walked across that stage, no family applauded. Only strangers clapped, but I clapped for myself inside. An entry-level job in tech changed everything. Steady paychecks replaced ramen with real meals. Bit by bit, I paid my loans. Bit by bit, I rebuilt my life. Then came marriage. A colleague, sharp, funny, dependable, or so I believed. For a while, I thought stability had finally found me. But betrayal found me first. Texts on his phone shattered the illusion. Cheating, months of it, hidden behind casual smiles. I didn't beg. I didn't cry. I packed his bags and told him to leave. He stayed in Dylan's life, sending money, keeping distance, and I stayed standing harder than before. The first time I held Dylan, tiny and warm, I knew I would never let him feel my loneliness. Through every storm, I refused to bend. The seed of resentment toward my parents grew silently. Not wild, not forgotten, just waiting for the day I would face them again. I had built my world in silence. but silence never lasts forever. The call came on a quiet Tuesday evening. Dylan's pencil scratched across homework while dinner cooled on the stove. My phone buzzed. My mother's name lit the screen. I hadn't spoken to her in months. Her voice shook, nothing like the sharpness I knew. "Colleen, it's your father. He's sick, really sick." She rushed the words, then added, "The bank's foreclosing. 300,000 owed." My chest tightened, but not from sympathy. 300,000. The same pattern. Bad ventures. Endless debts. Pleas for rescue. "What do you want me to do?" I asked flatly. "You're doing so well," she pressed. "We're family. Help us." That word, family, burned worse than fire. I hung up, pacing as guilt clawed at me. Part of me whispered, "Let them drown." But another voice, the child still wanting closure, hesitated. Denise cut through the noise. "They're using you. Don't let guilt own you." Still, I packed a bag, arranging for Dylan to stay. Not to save them, but to close unfinished chapters. Louisville greeted me with peeling paint and overgrown grass. The house looked smaller, weaker, like the people inside. Stepping across the threshold, memories collided with present decay. Cookie-scented afternoons became shadows of mildew and dust. My father lay frail in the living room, eyes stubborn still. My mother ushered me in, gratitude painted thin. The air smelled of old coffee and desperation. Over coffee, she leaned closer, desperation showing. "You could fix this. Cover at least 200,000. It's the least you can do for family." Her smile was brittle, her tone expectant. I set my cup down slowly, blood simmering. "That's a lot of money. I have Dylan. I have responsibilities." My father's eyes narrowed, voice sharp as ever. "You've always been selfish, Colleen. We gave you everything." "Everything?" They stole my inheritance, abandoned me at 18. Now I was selfish for refusing to bail them out? Philip arrived late, smirk glued to his face. "Don't play the victim, Colleen. Step up or watch us sink." I clenched my fists under the table. But then, my mother leaned in, words icy, deliberate. "You and your son are just freeloaders living off our sacrifices." The insult sliced deeper than any debt ever could. They didn't just come for me. They came for Dylan, my son, my reason, my world. And in that moment, I swore he'd never feel my pain. That night, betrayal wasn't just history. It was alive, staring at me. I stood. My chair scraped stone against the kitchen tile. My voice stayed low, steady, deliberate. "Do not use my son as leverage." My mother scoffed, lips curved like knives. My father stared, daring me to bend. Philip checked his phone, pretending boredom, enjoying power. "Family doesn't demand what I earned," I said. "Family doesn't insult my child to open my wallet." Silence throbbed harder than any shouted curse. I left before rage rewrote the night. Outside, the air felt like broken glass. I dialed Denise, hands shaking but controlled. "Good," she said. "Hold the line. Then we take back the board." The next morning, my phone exploded. Coworkers, friends, Dylan's coach, all texting. "Have you seen this?" My mother's video flooded TikTok. Tears, tissues tremble on command. "Ungrateful daughter lets us lose everything." Comments called me heartless, selfish, cruel. I stared at the screen, heartbeat cold. They wanted a public fight. I chose a legal one. "Hit them where it hurts," Denise said. "The house, the leverage, buy it." I met Laura, a razor in a blazer. She laid the options out clean. The bank wants out, not drama. Buy directly, clear the lien, own everything. Numbers clicked, then locked into place. Savings, investments, a manageable loan. I signed with a steady hand. Deed in my name, not theirs. Next came the terms. Laura drafted the agreement like a scalpel. They could stay, 5 years, structured repayment, fair interest. Miss a payment, they vacate, no theatrics. Cease and desist to end the lies. We sent the packet certified and sharp. My mother called, voice shaking with fury. "You think you can control us? You'll regret this, Colleen." Her words struck deep, but memory struck deeper. I saw myself at 18, duffel bag in hand. Back then, leaving meant weakness. Now, standing meant power. What they called giving had always been taking. Philip texted one line. "You're ruthless." I watched the dots blink, then stop. No reply necessary. That night, Dylan built a Lego ship. He asked if storms were finished. "Not yet," I said, kneeling beside him. "But we have a map now." Laura updated me the next morning. "They refused to sign," she said. "They claim they owe you nothing." "Proceed," I answered, voice even. Eviction is slow, but truth is patient. I cataloged their messages, their threats, their smear. I chose preparation over panic, boundaries over begging. For once, I held every card clean. For the first time, the terms were mine, and mine alone. 30 days later, the house was empty. Boxes half-packed, curtains ripped from rings. They left quietly, but not gently. I walked each room without nostalgia. Memories tried to bargain. I didn't answer. I hired cleaners, changed locks, opened windows. Sunlight cut through the stale air. A young couple signed the lease. Laughter returned to a place that once took mine. The rent flowed into Dylan's college fund. That felt like justice, not revenge. I blocked numbers I once waited for. I archived voicemails I used to replay. Silence finally sounded like peace. Boundaries finally felt like love. Before leaving Louisville, I drove past the house once more. The windows stared back, hollow, stripped of their power over me. I whispered a quiet goodbye. Not to them, but to the girl I used to be. The chapter was closed, and I would not reopen it. On Saturday, Dylan and I planted marigolds. He asked if storms were over. Storms come and go, I said, but we don't live under them. I showed him the deed with my name. I told him strength isn't shouting, it's choosing. Choosing when to stay and when to leave. Choosing respect over approval every time. People talk about blood like it's a contract, but family is who shows up kindly. Who holds your line when you're tired? Who celebrates your no as much as your yes? If you've been where I've been, breathe. You are not heartless for choosing yourself. You are not cruel for locking the door. You are brave for turning the key. Have you ever faced something like this? Tell me in the comments below. If you've been through this, you're not alone. I'm listening, and so is this community. I choose my son, my peace, and the woman I became. Before saying goodbye, if this story touched your heart, please give it a like and share it with someone who needs to hear this today. Don't forget to subscribe for more true family betrayal stories. That reminds us we are stronger than we think.